Hi, I'm Ian, and I want to. I did some more research, so I put up a video about something, and I did some more research, and I'm still excited. I'm still looking forward. So my name's Ian. I'm an engineer. I've done some business. I'm a dad. I've been worried about climate change. And now I'm starting to see some good news. And the good news relates to this molecule, nitrogen and hydrogen. It's ammonia, but ammonia looks like it will work as a green fuel. We can make it with electricity, air, and water, and we can use it in place of gasoline and diesel and things like this. And that makes me super optimistic. In other videos, I've run through some of the energy equations, which translates sort of to the economics of it. Um, but I want to talk about a personal, like, little rabbit hole I've been on, just something maybe I am interested in. So this is an engine. It's made by a big company called Wärtsilä, and it's for marine shipping. Um, so it was designed to run on diesel, but it they've modified it so it can run on liquid natural gas and methane and biofuels and ammonia. And this got me thinking about flex fuels, right? Like, so my car, um, you can run it on E85, and you can also run it on pump gas. You just need to empty the tank in between it and hit a button, change the tune, and then you can run it on either. So marine engines can do this. Can a motor for a car do that? Um, this famous British engineering company called Cosworth, huge race pedigree, F1 engines, all this stuff. They have designed a hybrid engine. So it doesn't directly drive wheels, it generates electricity, and the wheels are only driven by electricity, and so this feeds battery packs. That's what this image does. It's called a Catgen, or a catalytic generator, and man, it's so smart, smart. So rather than using pistons and valves, which add weight and complexity and make running on flex fuels really difficult because engine timing and all this stuff, they just went back to first principles and said, the only reason we need pistons is for torque. And if we're just feeding electricity into a battery, we don't need torque. The battery charging process can throttle. So you can turn it on and it can get up to full power and it can run at continuous speed. And it's just a completely different problem. So because it's a different problem, we can explore different solutions. And what they realize is they can throw out all the moving parts of a car, all of them. So instead of spark plug and explosion, instead of all this stuff, what they've done is they've taken the catalytic converter and used it. So in your car at home, the catalytic converter takes unburnt fuel and uses catalysts to break it down further. And breaking it down releases heat, which causes gas to expand. So if you just put fuel, just naked fuel, into a catalytic converter, it will generate heat, it will generate pressure in the exhaust, it will force air out, and it's dead simple. It's so simple. So that pressure, the air, the exhaust out of the catalytic converter, what if you just use that to run a turbine? Uh, it's simple. It's really, I mean, you vary the fuel rate in, but aside from that, you can switching from diesel to gas to liquid natural gas to hydrogen to ammonia. It's no big deal. I mean, the system doesn't care. It's just the exhaust drives the generator. So I mentioned this other car, but it's a hypercar, right? The other car that Cosworth is working on is very expensive. It's not in my price bracket. But what would happen if you put this in a BRZ, right? So, I mean, this car, not everyone out there will this be your cup of tea, but for me, you can put four extra wheels in it, so you can take it to the track. It's got really fantastic handling. It's light. It's actually got a back seat. I mean, your kids will complain, but they'll get there safely. Um, it's a neat vehicle. There's another one Toyota makes that's the twin of this. They're called the twins, the BRZ and the 86. And like light cars are fun. I actually I don't want to drive a Tesla Plaid. I know it's really fast, but that's not what I want. This is what I want. So if we use this new technology, what how would it work? Right? This is my rabbit hole. So you've got the catalytic generator. Okay. Um, you put fuel in, it makes electricity. It's not that big, it's not that heavy, and you use this to feed a battery pack. So let's look at the specific sort of stats. So this one kicks off 35 kilowatts. So the when you're just cruising down a highway, your car's not using that much power. You use power when you accelerate. So if you had a 35 kilowatt generator, you can top up your batteries. Okay? So that's what this is, 35 kilowatts. Its cost is like 3,300 Canadian dollars. It's great. Okay, great. That's not a lot. Its weight, 48 kilograms. By my car, by the time you took the headers, the cats, the whole exhaust, I bet you're way over 48 kilograms. Like this whole thing is lighter than my exhaust. All right. I have a BRZ, the exhaust in this. You pair this with an electric motor. Now, I don't need 1,100 horsepower. Like 300 would be way more than a BRZ has today. So make it fuel agnostic. So, I mean, it would probably add some weight versus your standard gasoline fuel, like fuel tank. It would probably be more like a fuel cell with a bladder inside, maybe a bit more weight, but I mean, fuel agnostic would be so cool. I would love to go to like a farm uh place and get ammonia and rip around on ammonia. I mean, so cool. Um, you just need the generator, so there's no other after treatments, there's no other exhaust, there's no anything. And so when you add up all of this, I mean, depending on the motor you get, I think you might even save like a couple £100, right? 50% increase in power, save a couple £100. Wildly fun thing. So the turbines, again, turbines, why as a generator does a turbine make sense? It's it's lighter, it provides more power, it operates really fast, high RPM, smooth operation, super reliable, like its bearings. Like it requires basically no engine maintenance. Um, cool. So turbines in EVs, again, the benefit, it's light, it's simple, right? Uh, we also would get regen on the braking, right? So the BRZ has like 220 horsepower. with a torque curve, with a horsepower curve. You get it when you're driving quite high RPM. Here you would have it instant, second you touch the accelerator. Again, green fuel, it's handling, it's light, it's easier on your tires. You could take this to the track and keep going because you wouldn't, a Tesla Plaid, if you took that on the track, your tires will be toast in like 2 hot laps. So even if you had the battery, your like think of all that weight through a corner on those tires, they'd die. Um, Acceleration, range, because it's light. So here's what I think you would do if you want to sell me a kit to do this. All right, I'm in. Here's the exhaust. You take out the exhaust. That's where you put the generator. It's going to mess up your weight balance a slight bit. This muffler part of the exhaust, but it's going to be close though. It's going to be close. This is the rear subframe. So you can see the differential in the middle of this. Cosworth, the other car they're making with this, the aerial hypercar, this setup, I bet you could get a single motor in where that diff is, or mount it just beside the diff. I bet it would fit. I bet if somebody wanted, again, to do a little R&D and then sell this to me, I think the packaging would work. You just replace muffler of the subframe where the current motor is. I don't know if these battery, I've got to get into battery chemistry. There's a discharge rate thing with batteries. So it's not just how much range, but it's how much power can they dump all at once. But basically, batteries like this, maybe 14 kilowatt hours, what we're talking about here is like 200 pounds of batteries. We're not talking tons, we're talking 200 pounds, like 100 kilos of batteries and like $5,000 of batteries. Put that where the motor is, and have your charging unit up there. So again, I mean, your weight balance is a little bit different, but it's not that different. It's really low. You keep the low center of gravity. Man. Okay, so anyone out there who is interested in ammonia or hydrogen and green fuel and wants to create a kit, like give me a more powerful, lighter BRZ, I'll be your first order. I will buy this from you. All right. So anyway, yeah, like the future isn't doom and gloom. Green energy, fun cars, prices that aren't totally insane. Let's go. All right.